Check 1 2.
1098-765-432.
Check 1 2.
It's a hard knock life.
Hi, I'm Paul Banks.
And I'm the RZA, aka Bobby Steelz.
And you're watching Hard Knock TV.
Bong bong.
Who are some of the other artists that you guys have in common that you kind of like bonded over?
Man.
Stevie Wonder.
Oh, Stevie Wonder.
Bowie.
Elton John. It's another one, but you know, it's some, you know, I mean, a buddy of mine who's John Frusciante, you know, a buddy of mine, but one of my favorite musicians in the last 12 years. You know, I'm not normally inspired by musicians in a sense, right? What I mean by inspired, because I'm mostly inspired by life itself, but there's certain musicians that do something that push me to try to reach a range of my own talent, you know what I mean? And the people we named done that, you know. Elton John on the piano, you know, when I learned that Bernie writes the lyrics and then he gives them to Elton, and then Elton makes a beautiful song out of it. That's that simplicity of an idea of what that could do and how they made some of the greatest songs written. You think of Rocket Man, our song, Yellow Brick Road, Goodbye. We sampled Yellow Brick Road, and it wasn't my sample, but I fought to get it cleared on Cuban Links Part 2. But when you think about, you know, those songs written, and one guy was like, wherever he was at, and this guy got it and put it to music, that inspired me to, like, there's a poet named Emily Dickinson, and my daughter was reading her book, and because I knew what Bernie and Elton did, I'm able to sit at the piano with an Emily Dickinson poem and write a song out. Yeah, so certain artists is going to open up a chakra in your brain. You know, Leonard Cohen, you know, the Stranger song, certain things he say in that song, you know, it's hard to trust a man who is reaching for the sky to surrender. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
No, and I think a cool thing about our collaboration is that if you were to ask me seriously, favorite lyricist, favorite guitarist, within the top two would be Leonard Cohen and would be John Frusciante. Like, they're both massive influences for me as an artist since I was a teenager. Both cases. I think I wrote a college essay, entrance essay based around Leonard Cohen lyrics and John Frusciante's first solo record, as well as, you know, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, like the guitar solos on I Could Have Lied, for instance, among the most influential, like, pieces of music for me in my life. So it's kind of cool within the limited selection of artists that RZA would bring up as he being passionate about outside of hip hop, the fact that they're like in my top favorite slots as well. You know, there's a connection created.
And what's cool about this interview is I never knew he wrote an essay about Leonard Cohen, you know what I mean? Yeah, so me and Paul, you know, hey, that's a good thing about Banks and Still too, you know, two independent men, cool, suave, swag, all that, you know what I mean? But yet, with a friendship that's still blossoming, you know what I mean? Unfolding, shall we say. I just learned something along with your fans out there.
Famous Blue Raincoat.
Oh, it was torn at the shoulder.
One of the artists that you mentioned was David Bowie. You lost him, lost Prince, lost Phife, who was a big part of my... do you guys have any special memories about any of those guys that you want to share with us?
When I was in that same age, I was into Suicidal Tendencies and Tribe Called Quest when it was probably 8th grade. And Tribe with like Left My Wallet in El Segundo and Bonita Applebaum, they were really, yes, so since that age, Tribe has been huge for me. That was a terrible loss. What was the other? Oh, Prince is Unreal, and there's news that came out today about that.
Yeah, you said Phife?
Prince and Bowie.
First of all, I remember Phife, first time I ever seen Phife is at the Red Zone in New York City. It's a club. Funk Master Flex is the DJ. He's before he even gets on the radio. I'm probably 18. And I'm conceited, you know what I mean? I think I'm the best MC in the world, like most MCs think, right? And Phife comes in, the Red Zone, the building, and he climbs up to the DJ booth and sits up there and kicks the verse from back in the days in the Boulevard of London. He kicked the verse before the record came out, though. You know what I mean? And yo, the crowd went bananas. I was like, this little dude is dope. You know what I mean? You know, of course, over the years, you know, Wu and Tribe got a chance to perform together, rock the bells and all those type of things. But he's a great loss. So I just want to say one thing. His memorial, I think, is commendable in a sense. It brought together a great, it brought together the hip hop nation. A lot of us was there from different eras, you know what I mean, from different economic level on that ladder. You know, Think OD was there, yo. You know what I mean? Along with LL Cool J, you know what I mean? So that was beautiful. Prince, like you said, man, Prince, man, you know, my wife cried on Prince, yo. You know what I mean? Her brother, you know, he might have picked up the guitar because of Prince, you know what I mean? And Bowie, and I was in Australia, and I'm not name dropping, but I was in Australia having dinner with my buddy Russell Crowe, and that night for dinner, he played the Bowie album.
Black Star, the last one?
Well, he had actually it was a compilation, you know what I mean, of Bowie hits. And you know, next morning we all come out, you know, just get into our activities. And somebody's like, David Bowie passed away. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. And when he was playing the Bowie, it was like, like me and him was like, Bowie, that's not. I was like, yo, that's the shit. You know what I mean? I was happy he played it. So, you know, we definitely lost a lot of great talent. You know what I mean? In the last year, and it's always going to be that. Sadly. That's why we make music, yo. In all reality, I think that's one of the driving forces of an artist is to take a part of his DNA and plant it into this world, and hopefully that part will be eternal, creating memories of him and the memories you get when you hear that music.
Talking to you a little bit last night, I got to see how deep your hip hop knowledge goes. Tell me a little bit about your childhood and how I think yesterday you were telling me that the kind of how you got into hip hop was when you went back to Spain.
Well, yeah, I lived in Spain from when I was like 11, and so I think around age 12, Straight Outta Compton came out. I don't know if I was that into hip hop. That might have been the thing that did it for me. But I mean, kind of like everything that was explicit at that time point. I was kind of, Too Short, Two Live Crew, NWA, and Straight Outta Compton I got really into. I memorized every lyric to that entire record, and that's probably the first record that I knew top to bottom, every word, which is kind of a funny thing, being like a 12-year-old, kid living in Spain.
But before that, you had lived in Michigan.
Before that, I lived in Michigan, yeah. It was like born in England, then we moved to Michigan, then we moved to New Jersey, then we moved to Spain, then back to New Jersey, then I finished high school in Mexico. Wow. And then I came to New York for college. But when I was living in Spain, that was when the sort of, hip-hop kind of thing took me over for a period of time. And I remember like I'd go to England because my extended family's there, and I would go to like Virgin, and I found like, I don't know how obscure some of these NWA like offshoot records were, but like NWA and the Posse, have you ever seen this, right? And there's like just a bunch of dudes on the cover and some sort of random...
NWA and the Posse?
Yeah.
You know that one?
And like random B-side stuff and kind of like less good material.
That must have been an export. I didn't even get that one.
No, and there was some stuff on it was all right. But yeah, I was way into NWA.
What was it about NWA that resonated with you when you were in?
I don't know, man. I think it could be the yin and the yang of it. And I think I've often been gravitated to things that are just like so foreign to my experience that it's fascinating. But I mean, listening to some guys like violently say like fuck the police and fucking killing people and fucking just, there was so much edge to that music. And I guess it's kind of like, it's probably a common story for a lot of artists. It's like that which is totally exotic and outside of your experience is like what you get really zoned in on. So it's probably that, I just think it was extreme and explicit and foreign and awesome,
And that kind of started you down the rabbit hole. Because I mean, yesterday we were talking about Deltron 3030. And
yeah.
we were talking about all kinds of.
Well, so then as I got closer to adolescence, then I kind of discovered rock music and started playing guitar. And then when I was in college, I sort of circled back, and so it's been like college to the present that my passion for hip hop has been rekindled. And yesterday you and I were talking about how I was saying that I just think Stankonia and Deltron 3030 are really monumental albums, and that it's cool that they came out around the same time and how that sort of happens, but that I think that those two records will go down as, you know, very heavyweight albums. Stankonia I could talk about a lot. I got so into that record. Like Toilet Tisha, you know that one? Do you know that song? And Gangsta Shit.
I feel like Stankonia would be a good blend of your worlds, because they had a little bit of the rock stuff and they had a little bit of the hip hop stuff. It was just kind of breaking boundaries as far as like where hip hop could go.
Well, and we were saying that Deltron 3030, I think that you wouldn't have Gorillaz without the Damon Albarn collaboration with Del on that record. And I don't know, man. I mean, I'm passionate about a lot of hip hop. I think Nas and Gang Starr, Mobb Deep. I'm kind of way into a certain production style that you get in Gang Starr. I mean, actually in the artist that I just cited, which I mean, I don't know that much, but is that Premier that you can sort of attribute that to?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And so RZA, J Dilla, Madlib, Premier, those are sort of among, you know, my all-time favorite producers in the genre. Before I knew RZA, you know, I studied RZA's work, and it has a lot to do, I think, that there's just something very special in the production, and Dan the Automator is in that kind of, you know, category too, of like guys that like I'd buy an instrumental album and just listen to the beat.
I know one thing about Paul that was, you know, him being a fan of the hip hop genre, and as I got to know him, and you know, he'll even turn me on a few things that I missed, because when you're making music, you sometimes don't even pay attention to what's going on.
He turned you on to some hip hop stuff?
Yeah.
Like what?
I mean, well, even that Deltron album, even though I know the Gorillaz and all that, it's just you know, some things I skipped because I'm making mine. You know what I mean? But to know that the dude knew Kool Keith, that to me was like, oh, hold on. And Kool Keith being, you know, one of his favorite MCs, that led to you know, to us collaborating with Keith on this record. You know what I mean? A legend, you know, I look at Keith as a legend, you know what I mean? And people look at me in the same view. And we always had, you know, we were bumping to each other, talking about we were gonna record something together, you know, whether it was competitive or whether it was just, you know, yo, yeah, man, I like that Bobby Digital, you know what I'm saying? I got Robbie Analog, you know, that shit. And like that, then you know, we got a chance to fulfill it, you know, but it was due to Paul's, you know, lyrical admiration of Kool Keith and his style of hip hop, which to me is you know, not that I'm trying to validate Paul or nothing like that, but just cool to know that you went to, you know, some shit, kid, you know what I mean? You know, a few chess moves, you know, some hip hop shit, but he got his swag in, you know what I mean?
And I mean, I think that's an asset to our collaboration that helps that it work, is that I have, you know, I'm not just trying to bring rock over to RZA's world. Like, I'm a massive fan of the genre that RZA is a pioneer of. So, you know, it's sort of like, I don't know, I have a great admiration and respect, and I don't know, like my inclination isn't to change what's happening. Do you know what I mean? It's just sort of like, yeah, let's work on this dope music and see what happens.